giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Oh, y'all thought I was going to leave y'all hanging? Nah. Welcome to Z Sports Live, presented by Freeman Honda Mazda. Freeman Mazda / Honda. I, of course, am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. You deserve an explanation. Hold tight. It is a very good explanation that, again, everything works out here. You will reap the benefits of later on today, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Today, though, we are talking wide receiver camp battles. We continue our countdown to camp. We are going to talk about a whole bunch of real battles heading into July 26th. So we are 13 days away, a little bit more than that until I get down there, until the Cowboys get it together for camp, which, before we get into anything else, I will talk about why I'm late. So I got to kind of let the cat out the bag on this one. I kind of want to just spring on this interview to y'all because I just wanted to. But earlier this morning, we were in the middle of an interview with Oso Digizua. Okay, so the cat's out the bag. I'm just gonna let y'all know that at this second, or right now. Me and Oso have been planning this thing for a long time, but I get how things are in the offseason, so I'm always willing to work around the player's schedule, especially when it comes to getting some good information from these players and good interviews. So I'm like, hey man, whatever works for you works for me. And we were previously scheduled at a later time, and then we decided to do it before the show. Things happen, right? And we just couldn't quite get the connection down on his end, so I didn't want to put out a choppy interview for y'all. I didn't want to do that. Osa didn't want to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to get him to go on his computer later or laptop, and we'll get that interview done. Now, if it doesn't work via video, we'll just do audio. We tried to do the video this morning. Didn't work out. All good. We figured out how we're going to try to get it done. And I promise y'all, I will get a quality interview for you guys with Oso Digizua. So that is the reason why we are really, really late today. I almost put out something in the community and on Facebook, letting you guys know, hey, I might start the show at 9, depending on when me and Osa connect here. So it kind of just sprung up on us. I was about to start the show. Then he got back with me, and I was like, all right, let's do it here, man. The Bomb Squad, I got mad love for them. They got mad love for me. They'd be cool. So shout out to y'all.
Bomb Squad!
Shout out to y'all. So bear with me. My apologies for being this super late without telling y'all. I try to give y'all a surprise with it, but sometimes things don't work out that way, right? But it's all good. We got a really good interview set up for y'all later, so keep rocking, hold tight. I promise you we'll get you the video later. If not later tonight, it'll be tomorrow because I want to edit it and make sure we get it right. So probably maybe tomorrow I'll drop it. All right? With that said, man, we here, we live. I wasn't going to leave y'all hanging. I was not going to leave y'all hanging. We'll have a good show today. It would have been great to kind of switch this, right? Have the camp battle defensive tackles be today, especially with the Osa thing. But I don't really think he's battling with anybody but himself. So he really wouldn't have fit in here, but he would have fit in with the position. But it's all good. We got some good battles today. Wide receiver might be one of my favorite positions to watch at camp in regards to the battles because there really is only one that's set in stone to start the season. Other than that, it's up for grabs. So we're going to talk about it, man. But another one.
Bomb Squad!
Give a shout out to y'all one more time. Gregory, I see in the building. Derek, Toxic Tom, Downey, burner account. Derek said I was getting a haircut. J.A., good morning. Lamitra, Chuck P, Antoine Swain, King Element in the building. Iceberg Q, Arthur White, Prime Time Phil, D Block 88. Who else we got up in here? My ladies in the building. Captain America. I see you guys are excited about Osa. I am too, man. We were having a good conversation. It was too choppy. I didn't want to put it out there like that, but really good dude, man. I appreciate him for his time that he's going to give up for us here. Jonathan Scruggs. By the way, Jonathan Scruggs. You are the same Jonathan that hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to talk about that in the roundup, so stay tuned. We may be, having another added player on this roster, so make sure y'all tap in with the roundup. I won't stamp it just quite yet because I usually need at least two sources, but Scruggs gave me some really good information I want to talk about. Dennis Knight, Eagles are trash. I see you flipped it back now. Appreciate you. Mr. Bruce Wayne, Greedy Vegan, Rami. Who else we got, man? Dennis Knight already got you. Antoine Swain already got you. Mark Felix, Nick Mims, 215 in the building. Jim Koger, and the many more coming through. Dallas Young, Sin City. I appreciate all y'all. AJ, thank you for being here, Bomb Squad. Thank you. I want to call in. Yeah. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. We can talk about this camp battle. We can talk about Osa if you want to talk about him. I might take a couple of your questions, too. Now that the cat's out the bag, hey, if there's some good questions you guys got, maybe we'll do something where drop them in my on Twitter. Drop them on my DMs or something like that. Now, I'll add that into it. He's a really good dude, so he'll answer your questions. What's up, Reginald? What's up, Mark? All right, man. Y'all ready? Let's get this show on the road. I know I always say this, but due to the circumstances, I still won't be super, super long. But I'm going to go ahead and press this button and shut the hell up.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
I probably should never, ever say that again. Never works out that way. But let's get into the roundup. We got some Cowboys news, and we got some news that really isn't Cowboys related, but there's a weird connection to it, and y'all know what I'm talking about. Is there another linebacker on the way? Cowboys signed kicker Lirim Hallelujah, as my guy says. Lirim Hallelujah, I think that's how you say it. And a linebacker last week, Christian Sam, but they also, very under the radar, worked out linebacker Malik Jefferson, formerly of the Colts, I think the Dolphins, the Bengals. I mean, he was in a lot of different places. You guys are like, who the hell was Malik Jefferson? Okay, he's a 2018 third-round pick from the Bengals by the way of the Texas Longhorns. He's actually a Dallas native, if I'm not mistaken, so he's familiar with the area. Shout out to my guy Scruggs. He hit me up. He said, hey, man, this might be happening. I said, oh. Now, I noticed we worked him out, but I didn't know if it was going to happen or not. So, we're here to tell you first, by way of my guy Scruggs, it's a very high possibility, apparently, that the Cowboys will be bringing in another linebacker. And it may be Malik Jefferson. Now, he hasn't played a ton in the NFL. Only, I think, like 15 snaps or something like that. But he's been on a number of practice squads and just fringe roster guys. So we'll see if this sticks. We'll see if he sticks, if he indeed is signed. But I just want to say, keep an eye out on that news maybe today or later this week that the Cowboys could be bringing in another linebacker. Cowboys said he wasn't done. And they're addressing a position that we want to address. It's just with guys maybe we didn't really think of. And we'll see if they can stick around. Also, the news that isn't Cowboys related, but has a weird connection to it, is an N'Keal Harry trade to the Bears. He finally got dealt. It was no secret that the Patriots were looking to move on. It just didn't work out. You know, they drafted N'Keal Harry, I think when Tom Brady was here, thinking, okay, maybe this is the young wide receiver that we can finally draft early in the draft and it'll pay off for Tom Brady. It didn't. It never clicked with Tom. It didn't click last year with Mac, and it was just time to move on, says Bill Belichick. Now, it got connected to the Cowboys in a weird way. Some weeks back, there was this Tristan Hill, N'Keal Harry talk amongst Cowboy fans and really creators. They kind of got some waves because of the creators. And I didn't really put anything to it because I didn't see a reputable source saying this was real. It was more of a, hey, what if we traded for type of thing. But it picked up some steam, and we briefly talked about it here when somebody brought it up in the chat. Well, that's over. That's done. And it looks like you wouldn't even have needed to trade a Tristan Hill for N'Keal Harry. That was the player mentioned. They traded him for a 2024 7th round pick. What round was Harry drafted in? The second round guy? First round guy? Whew. And he got traded for a 2024 7th round pick. Oh boy. Listen, we've talked about Tristan Hill. That's not even like, that's way less than Tristan Hill. Had the Patriots received Tristan Hill and we would have known you could have gotten N'Keal Harry for a 7th round pick, 2024, I'd have been like, dang, Cowboys got. Cowboys got. But they didn't get got. They didn't even make the trade. I see y'all in the chat are pretty surprised with that compensation. I am too. I'm not saying that N'Keal Harry was amazing player or whatever, but hey, you know, you are what your market says you are. And 7th round pick, apparently a lot of teams didn't like what they saw on film. So we'll see though. Sometimes you go to a different place and you're better. Sometimes it just takes a change of scenery. We talked about that with Tristan Hill. You know, if he doesn't ball out this year, he's still 4 years old or something like that. He's still a young player. So maybe he'll go somewhere else and ball out. Same thing with N'Keal Harry. He's still a young player. He has some talent. Maybe he'll go to the Bears and ball out. I don't know about that. Justin Fields is still a young quarterback. Joe DeCamillis is the head coach there, not an offensive guy. Excuse me, Bears fans. I do not know who your offensive coordinator is, but seems like the Bears knew they needed to get a receiver, so they went out and got a former. Anybody got me a draft here? First round pick, second round pick. I can't remember when he was drafted. I remember when he came out, just don't remember. Okay, first round. So he was the first round, and it didn't work out. Damn. First round pick got traded for a 2020, a year later, 7th round pick. Man, that's rough. Mel said trade. Cowboys making a trade? Hell nah. I'm with you. But that, I mean, not saying that the Cowboys should have traded for N'Keal Harry, but I would never get mad at the franchise for trading a future 7th round pick for a potential at wide receiver. I mean, you trade future 7th round picks for punt returners, for 6 linebackers. So, you know what I mean? If they would have did that, there's no way you could come on here and be upset. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Joey? I see some people are just hopping in. If you missed it earlier, real quick, the reason why we're super late today is because we were in the middle of an interview with Osa Odigizua. So me and Osa decided, because it was too choppy, the connection over there was too choppy, we're going to try to do this again later on tonight, and hopefully we'll have that posted for you tomorrow. So that is why we are late right now. Eberflus, I'm sorry, not Joe DeCamillis. My apologies. Eberflus. I got the former Cowboys coordinators mixed up here. Whereas Eberflus was the linebackers coach in Dallas, went to Indianapolis, and then got the gig in Chicago. Joe DeCamillis, I don't know where he at now. He might still be in Oakland or at Las Vegas, possibly. So my apologies for that. Thank you. Bears needed to make that trade, says Sir. Sure, but I mean, or they could have just signed Allen Robinson back, but maybe Allen Robinson didn't want to be there. Brian says no Cowboys use layaway for free agency. They put free agency on layaway and never pay on it and let them expire. Touche, my ninja, touche. King Element says the Amari trade was so bad in retrospect. How the F does Amari go for almost the same as Neil Harry while Hollywood Brown goes for a first? Don't. You're ripping off the wound, the Band-Aid here, man. I'm still recovering from that awful compensation. I don't give a damn if you trade him. It happens. But for that, come on, man. Adrian says the Bears wide receiver room is trash. It is. B47 Vic says I'd rather Vasher, James, and Jalen. Well, great segue here. That's who we're going to talk about today. How in depth, up to you. But there are 3 different battles that I want to get at today, and they're not all 1v1. In fact, let's go ahead and get started here. The first battle, I really was going to have it 1v1. But the more I thought about it, the more I truly believed that this person needed to be included in this battle. This person needed to make this a triple threat match. Who was the SmackDown? I forget his name. It's mistaking me right now. The SmackDown commissioner who every time somebody said something he didn't like, he said, "You know what you just got? You just got a match with The Undertaker." He was a former, and it's silly that I can't remember this because he's a Hall of Fame referee / manager. Always said player. Y'all got me over here, my wrestling fans. But that's how I felt when I was thinking about this. You know what you just got? TJ Vasher and Semi Fehoko. A triple threat match because I'm throwing in Noah Brown. I've got to. Teddy Long. Thank you, Oscar. Teddy Long. The Undertaker. Did that about 100 times. The Undertaker was out there looking like the lady from Popeyes after cooking all them spicy chicken sandwiches. TJ Vasher, Semi Fehoko, Noah Brown in a triple threat match. I had to do this, and here's why I had to do it. For as much experience as Noah Brown has over the other two, which is a hell of a lot more experience. Hell of a lot more. He really hasn't done enough, in my opinion, Cowboys Nation, to separate himself indefinitely, if we're being honest. And what I mean is, you look at Noah Brown like, oh, yeah. From a talent standpoint, from a production standpoint, absolutely. There's no way his spot can be beat. No, that's not true. Now, if we want to put the tinfoil hat on and say, well Sky, Noah been on his team for 5 years. He got pictures of XYZ. He ain't going nowhere. Look, he's been sticking around as a special teams guy and wide receiver 5 guy. Then sure, we can play that game. But I'm just talking production. I'm just talking, the player, the talent. I don't think he's done enough to separate himself just yet. He has the experience. That's the number one thing he has over these guys. But if any of these two, or if both of them show any value from a wide receiver standpoint or on special team, I think that Noah's seat gets hotter. It gets hotter because they know what Noah is. He is what he is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Whereas TJ and Semi have that P word that makes you have to pause for a little bit and wait to see more, and that's potential. Right? TJ Vasher, according to Todd Archer, was the surprise standout player of the offseason. Kyle Yeomans also pointed out a number of times that TJ Vasher was standing out. Dave Hellman, he's been down there, same thing. if we're talking about these three guys, and I know offseason OTAs, whatever, doesn't really account for much in regards to, roster depth, but it sounds like TJ has been the guy that has taken advantage of these reps the most. Then you talk about a guy like Semi Fehoko, who, if you leave it up to the Cowboys fans, I think he's fallen out of favor to a lot of you guys. I mean, that's the way it seems in a strange way. He had his rookie struggles in camp last year, but I personally think he had a solid preseason given the quarterback play. And now this year, according to reports down there in the offseason, he's actually had a solid OTA offseason, but a couple of his drops get reported, and we hear about, we hear from the fans that, Semi, he's trash, he's not this, he's not that. That's not what I'm getting from the reports that I hear about Semi. I'm hearing there is progress, but is there going to be enough progress to jump Noah Brown? That's why, in my opinion, of these three, because Semi's draft pedigree and the opinion from the fans right now, not that matters in a sense, but he is under the most pressure to perform at training camp. Semi has to perform at training camp and in preseason, if we're being honest, so that he can get those reps in preseason. He can get those reps with Dak Prescott. Because think about it. If Semi or TJ or Noah, for that matter, whoever it is, if they're showing enough, they'll get those second team reps. Maybe they'll get that fourth wide receiver rep that's all important right now without Michael Gallup. If not, you're the odd man out, man. You're just going to be the odd man out because Michael Gallup is going to be on this team. He's probably not going to get put on PUP or get put on injured reserve if he is in that 2 to 3 game span. So a roster spot's going to be taken. There's a very high possibility one of these three aren't on it. All right. One of these three may not be on it, especially if the next bout we got shows out. But there's also a possibility all three of them will be on it too. So there's that as well. So I got TJ Vasher, Semi Fehoko, and Noah Brown. The skyscraper in TJ, 6'5", 210. I would love to see him utilized in the red zone if he does make this team. Or I don't even want to talk about making the team. I want to see him utilized in the red zone at camp and in training and in preseason. Let's see his number one thing be put on display before we decide to just kick him off the team. Because I think that's what he's going to be most used for if Kellen decides to use weapons. But that's a different story. So there's my first triple threat match. Semi versus TJ versus Noah. And right now, if you look on a depth chart, Noah will be at top, probably then Semi, then TJ Vasher, based off of the pedigree and their resumes. And then they battle it out. Let's see who comes on top at the end of all this. So crazy, Lemitra, that you said this. Noah is Tristan Hill-esque. He will be cut with Tristan. It's been a long enough. Vasher will make it. Well, the first part, I don't know that he'll be cut. I don't know that Tristan will be cut, but I'll have a better opinion on that once we see camp and once we see preseason. Because right now, it's hard to justify cutting him right now. There's just not enough evidence of the other guys to cut him. Because think about it for a second. Right this second, we don't know any more about Noah. I'm sorry, about TJ. We don't know any more about Semi from what we've seen. We're not down there. Maybe Kyle can have a better opinion. Dave can have a better opinion. Mike, whoever else is down there. But what we've seen on television and in practices, there's not enough to be like, oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, cut this man for this man. I don't think it's enough just yet. King Element said, this is very true. Noah Brown is good at making commenters think he's CD Brown. He got me. If you go back and look at, which we'll be bringing this back up next year or this season, the drive of the game against the Patriots, I mistakenly said, yeah, CD Lamb with the catch, yada, yada, yada. Somebody in the chat, that's Noah Brown. I got to do it like this because, boy, if you are wrong on Twitter, on YouTube, if you mistakenly, slip up and say the wrong name, wrong number, wrong yard, if it's 82 yards and you said 81, anything, You're wrong. I was like, yo, chill. My bad. It looked like CD Lamb. Apology. You can't really see the 88 and 85 difference from the all 22 angle right there. My bad, bro. Yeah, all right. Dallas Young, what's good? He says Semi. I'm guessing you're saying if Semi hasn't shown anything yet, he's the odd man out. Or Semi has shown anything yet, he's the odd man out, in my opinion. I've got to be a little bit more clear on what you're saying there. Lauren, here you go. None of them can return punts. Just stay tuned. We got another battle coming up. Jacob believes Hill, Sprinkle, Noah Brown will be gone. Okay. B Bird, we have too many receivers that are the same. Where'd you go? We have too many receivers that are the same type. We could use a tall receiver with big catch radius. I agree. I am. If I'm putting on my fan cap right quick, who do you want to see elevate? I want to see TJ Vasher. I am enamored. Y'all know this. I like size in players. I like abnormal looking athletes at positions that I think you can use that size at. Safety, for instance. I love a 6'4", 225-pound safety that can move around. It's different. 6'6" wide receiver. I was a big fan of Plexico Burrs. Big fan. He's just not normal, right? And he was productive. Nothing would make me happier than TJ Vasher being the guy out of this triple threat match that comes out. Nothing will make me happier. We talked about this before. I mean, just think about CeeDee Lamb in the slot in the red zone, Michael Gallup on one side, TJ Vasher on the other side. Somebody has a mismatch. I don't care if you put your best slot corner on TJ. I honestly don't care if you put your best corner on TJ. I'm not asking TJ Vasher to route up Darius Slay. I'm not asking them to route up Ramsey. But one advantage TJ Vasher has over every corner in the league just about is size. You're not out jumping him. You're not outreaching him. So I got an automatic advantage in the red zone with TJ Vasher. So nothing would make me happier than TJ being the guy that comes out on top here. Marcus says Vasher's height will win. Brown will make the team. He will step up. Noah Brown. Yeah, I think, Craig, we were talking about Noah before. If you said, Scott, make a decision right this second, I'd be hard pressed to say Brown's not on this team. I've got to see more. I got to see more. It sounds like he's catching the ball now, man. I mean, we ain't talking college no more, Craig. Everything I'm hearing down in camp is TJ is snagging him. I agree, King. He's very intriguing. Maybe the most intriguing wide receiver we got on this roster. He could be used the way we use Bryce. I've been trying to I've been wanting to have a conversation with Bryce for so long because he was here in that very interesting period of time with the Cowboys. He would have some good stories. I think Bryce, though, was more of a speedster. I don't really quite know what I could compare TJ Vasher with for a former Cowboy receiver, which is why I keep hearing me bring up Plexico. Plexico was not a speedster. He was more of a lumberer, but he can go up and get the rock. He can position his body. He was clutch. Not saying TJ is, just talking about their body style. I really don't know who that was/is for the Dallas Cowboys over the years. I can't really quite put my hand on TJ Vasher comp for the Cowboys. Totally agree, Professor. It says Vasher's unique. Noah's are easy to find. 100%. B. Bird believes Noah wasn't used correctly during the Garrett era. Where could he possibly have fit at that time, though? You know what I'm saying? Des Bryant, Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams. Really, and then they brought in Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. It's kind of hard for him to really crack that 3-4 wide receiver. It sucks because Noah's whole bring in and block thing, I didn't like it because it worked. He was good at it, but you tipped your hat, right? You tipped your hand. You showed what you were going to do when you brought Noah Brown in. You didn't let him do anything else. But I don't know where he fits in that Dez Bryant, Terrence Williams, Cole Beasley, Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. I don't think he's really pushing any of those guys up on the roster. But somebody brought up returning punts, and I mean, from the sounds of it right now, it seems like that's going to go to Jalen Tolbert. But I wonder, maybe y'all could talk me off the ledge on this one. I don't want to say off the ledge, but talk me into this one. I wonder if one of these guys in our next battle, Ty Fehoko versus Dontario Drummond, if one of these guys show out enough, could they be the punt returner? And listen, we're talking about an uphill battle, right? So maybe punt returner is a far stretch. But Cowboys Nation, we talk about this with these down roster guys. It's the best way to get on the team. Special teams, right? If I'm Dallas, and I know Michael Gallup is not playing, Jalen Tolbert, it continues to ascend and click with Dak Prescott, and he becomes a vital part to your passing offense. I don't think I want him returning punts. If there's one position the Cowboys do not have that y'all know I talk about a ton, and I'll keep talking about it until I feel better about it, it's a slot wide receiver. And I mean a true slot wide receiver, not CeeDee Lamb moving into the slot. I feel like, in a way, you're capping CeeDee Lamb's potential by making him one or the other. Some players, though, they can't play outside and inside. I don't know if that's Ty Fehoko or Dontario Drummond, but I do know that when I've watched them, they look like they could be quality slot guys. Not overly athletic dudes, solid route runners. They've had some good production at one point in time in their careers in college. It flipped for them. Ty Fehoko was 2020. Then he had awful quarterback play in 2021. Drummond came back, for a super senior year, and he had great production in 2021 with Ole Miss. But I look at these two dudes as potential slot guys. And just me personally, building a team, I love to have that guy on my squad. If I had to pick who that was right now, to me, it'd be James Washington. But James Washington is one of those dual threat dudes too. He's been in and out, outside, inside as a wide receiver in his career, which isn't a bad thing, but James ain't going to be here long term. One of these guys could be. B. Bird says special teams is the only way down rosters players make the team. You're probably right about that. I mean, for a guy like Drummond, for a guy like Fehoko or TJ or Semi to make this roster and not be on special teams, you have to be so damn good at your position. Like you have to be so good as a wide receiver that they're sitting here like, you know what, man, we can't let this guy go. He's got something to him. I know, coach, he can't run down there and tackle, but he's got something to him. Help me remember. Cole Beasley. In fact, let's go look at some numbers, because that just made me think of Cole Beasley. Now, Cole Beasley wanted to quit, so things could be a little bit different, but that just tells you how much they like Cole Beasley his rookie year. Cole Beasley is not finna run down there and tackle nobody. I don't remember him being a super special teams returner in regards to kickoff or punt. I know not kickoff. I know eventually he started being a safe punt returner, meaning he's not really going to run the rock. He's going to just call it a fair catch because they count on him. But Cole Beasley's rookie year, he had 15 receptions, 128 yards. He wasn't used a lot. 24 targets. He wasn't used a lot. So maybe one of these guys could be Cole Beasley, right? In the sense of, I like what I see from a wide receiver standpoint. Maybe these guys aren't going to be amazing special teams players, but we want to keep them around. And then after that, Cole Beasley became Cole Beasley that we know. So that kind of made that kind of was floating in my head, Cowboys Nation, when I was thinking about a receiver that may not be a special teams guy, but showed enough early on as a rookie to stay on the team. Things are different. The rosters were different, but I just thought about that guy. Yeah, Cole was nice. Cole was nice. Craig said the last guy we had was Whitehead. In regards to a special teams, dynamo, as a rookie was lucky. But we can't overlook Austin, not Austin Eckler. Why am I having a brain fart? The Rams returner. He was here as well. Now, he might not have been injured all the time and things like that, but he was here as well. Yeah, Drummond's. A lot of these players are old with this super senior stuff. Professor O said Drummond's almost 2 years older than Tavon Austin. Tavon Austin, the other guy. These super seniors come in a lot older than some of these other players. Oscar says Fehoko and Hendershot, both free agents from Indiana, will push for a roster spot in training camp. Sure. I mean, they play positions that they can push them. From 1 through 4 for tight end, it's not set in stone. From 1 through 6, say we got 6 wide receivers, it's not set in stone. You can argue the same thing for linebacker. It's not set in stone. All these down roster guys can compete for a roster spot. I think things are a bit different than last year. You look at the linebacker room last year, tough for any of these dudes to make the roster. Look at the wide receiver room from last year. Think about this. No offense to Fehoko and Drummond. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Ced Wilson, Noah Brown, Mari Cooper. These dudes, what? You know what I mean? These dudes, they didn't have a shot at all these guys making the roster. Toxic says, I think that bridge with Cole and the Cowboys is burned. So, are there fans who think that we should bring Cole Beasley back? I'm with you. I think it's burned too. Man, and Malik Turner. Boy, that room was so deep last year, man. Listen, y'all. I like these young guys. I'm a fan of TJ and things like that, but it hurts a little bit. You know what I mean? We had a fantastic wide receiver room last year. That was a really good room. I'd argue the best wide receiver room. Now, granted, Michael Gallup got hurt, so that hurt it a bit. But starting the season, I don't think I was more excited for a wide receiver room in the Garrett era. Obviously, the Mike McCarthy era. That room was awesome. Toxic said he would take Cole back. Probably would. What's up with Cole? Is he hurt guy now? Is he hurt guy? I feel like he hurt guy. He old too. 33. I can give a damn about him rapping, truly, because he did come to play. You know what I'm saying? He did come and perform. He just was injured a lot, it seemed like. B. Burr says he can't remember a wide receiver room that talented in his life. Fam, listen, that room was really good. Now, did we utilize that room to its greatest strengths? Maybe not. But Gallup got hurt. Dak got hurt. Mari Cooper in and out. It didn't quite live up to it. And then we talked about this before. Think about this for a second. The Cowboys trio, great trio, only played, I think they played less than 20 games together with Dak Prescott. Shoot, I might be overshooting that. Hold on. Way less than 20. Way less than 20 games. Now, think about it, because Dak got hurt week 5. He had him for 4.5, 5 games. And then last year, Gallup was out. Well, Gallup played 6 games. So you're talking less than 15 games of those dudes for a possible 32. So about, 11, 12 games. He had Gallup, Cooper, and Lamb. That sucks. Yeah, that sucked. All right, let's get to the final battle, which I think is the heavyweight battle here. And for some, this might not seem like a battle, but I think it is because it's a two-way battle. If we're talking about stipulations, right? We're bringing back to the wrestling thing. You got a bunch of stipulations like lumberjack match, inferno match, and things like this. This is kind of a two-way battle here, meaning Jalen Tolbert versus James Washington for wide receiver 2 and 3. I use and not or. And this is the fun thing about this battle. This is going to go on all season. This is going to go on for at least 6 to 8 weeks, depending on when Gallup gets his feet up under him and he's full-fledged involved in this offense. All right. Right now, the favorite is Tolbert for wide receiver 2. Right now, the favorite is James Washington for wide receiver 3. And that is by default. Jalen Tolbert has been around. Granted, he missed a couple practices with the hammy, but he's been around. He's been impressing. Dak loves him. Dak talked glowingly of James as well, but James Washington has been out with a foot injury. He's expected to return for training camp, and boy, will he need to, because Tolbert gained a lot of momentum with Dak. He's still gaining momentum with Dak, right? They were just down in Miami. And honestly, this isn't an either-or thing. Remember, we talked about this yesterday with the defensive tackles. I'm not saying either or one of these guys got to get cut. That's not what we're talking about here. Wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. I would love to see Jalen Tolbert stranglehold the wide receiver 2 position from James Washington. I would love for him to be a primary boundary wide receiver that slides in from time to time, and James be a primary slot wide receiver that slides out from time to time. Coach wants him to do everything. He came out and valued, having wide receivers doing a lot, and that's cool. There's no shame in that, right? Like that's great. You can do a lot of different things. But what I don't want to see is miscommunication between Jalen and Dak. And what I mean is, y'all remember Dez Bryant and Tony Romo's early. We remember Dez and Tony from 2014 on, 2013 on, whatever it was, where he started to dominate. 2011, the year after. But early on, for as talented as Dez Bryant was, he still was a rookie. Tony was a vet. Tony expects you to be here. You're not. Interception. So I just don't want to put too much on his plate too early. Maybe once we get to week 8, week 10, whatever, you see Tolbert doing a little bit more things. But I think he's talented enough as a wide receiver that he can beat some of these battles. Hell, he's confident enough. I know that. He came out, flat out said it. Yeah, man, if I got a third cornerback on me, and I'm paraphrasing here, it's a mismatch. I think what he really said was, if I'm put here, then I'm going to have a guy that has no business guarding me on. So the reason why I would love to see a guy like Washington in the slot is because that slot position is very important. It's more riskier throws in regards to middle of the field. I need him to be in sync with my quarterback. I know both of these guys are new to this team, but we've seen Dak Prescott develop good chemistry with a veteran from an outside organization or a rookie too. So I don't worry about them developing chemistry, right? But I just need them to be on time. I need the timing to be right. And I trust it more if Tolbert is doing one thing in his rookie year. CeeDee Lamb did it. CeeDee Lamb played primary slot 93% of the time his rookie year, and you saw them click. It wasn't until CeeDee tried to do, he was moving around last year, and you saw that chemistry get shaken a bit. How many times have we seen Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb off? It was quite a few. Especially towards the end of the year because the practicing was weird. So I think the more you get Dak and CD in sync with him being on the outside, the more you get Tolbert in sync with him being on the outside, I think the chemistry, that it'll click a little bit better, and then we can start seeing what's happening moving around. So that's all I'm saying, is to allow one of these guys to be one spot or the other majority of the time, because we can't afford this year. The Cowboys can't afford to be like, the passing offense is mediocre to below average, and then it clicks week 14. Now we're fighting for our playoff lives. Can't do that. We need these boys to be on point. James says, if we don't run the ball effectively, the passing game will struggle. 100%. There was a time last year where, and again, honestly, I want to make sure I pause here, because I still feel extremely confident in the quarterback. I feel confident that Dak Prescott has been around long enough. He's in better shape. Not like he was out of shape, but just literally in better shape. Mentally, I don't worry about him being able to get by from the passing offense. If we get to that point where, hey, we just got to get by, I think he can get it by. I do. But because your passing offense is compromised early, I think it'd be a bad game plan to just lean on it solely. I use quotations because we've seen last year there was points and times in the season where it was like, hey, Kellen, why we got 5 carries and we're 4 minutes left in the second quarter? Yeah. Hey, Kellen, why did we finish the game and Tony Pollard has 3 touches? Can't do that this year, right? Like Kellen has to exhaust I don't care if he has to throw the book, the kitchen sink in the beginning of the year, and teams have to adjust. Then damn it, you adjust with them. But you've got to come out here and get some confidence with all these new pieces, right? With this offense. You do. I don't know, Jim, that I would consider Washington an outside speed guy. He's a 4.55 guy. Hell, he doesn't even look. There's no offense to James. When he's running his routes, he doesn't even look that fast. But that's okay. I don't need you to be a burner, right? I look at James Washington as, don't kill me. Don't kill me with this. But he has the play type, y'all gonna kill me, of a Steve Smith. Just hear me out. I'm not saying he's Steve Smith. I mean a smaller-ish receiver with the versatility and the physical toughness. Like Steve play like he's 6'3". Washington plays like he's 6'3". I'm not just making that up. He's an extremely strong-handed wide receiver, a strong-bodied wide receiver. You can move him around a bit. He can be a yak guy. I mean, he was a yak guy. What happened in Pittsburgh happened in Pittsburgh. Aggressive as hell too, Swain. Washington's aggressive. That's what I mean by, I'm using older players, not necessarily players that's playing. That's what I mean by play style. Because y'all gonna kill me if y'all say, well, Sky's calling him Steve Smith. No. Just the style of play, the attitude of play and whatnot. I've envisioned him that way more so than a speedster. Because I don't think he is a speedster. Hey, this is true. Professor O said, hopefully Panther Steve Smith instead of the Giant Steve Smith. True. TC915, Lamb, Gallup, Washington, Tolbert, TJ Vasher, and Brown will be the guys that make the roster this year. I think they go 6. I think they go 6 too. But if they don't, Brown will be the odd man out. Let me ask you this. Do y'all think the Cowboys have to go 6 due to the wide receiver room not being as deep as it was last year? I could argue, hey, 5 wide receivers last year, let's go. Boom. This year, I think they need to go a bit deeper. How many did you just say? 6? Yeah. So you got Semi out. That's fair. That's totally fair. Now, Semi shows something, and they're not quite ready to kind of elevate him to wide receiver 4 or 5 status. Then I could see them going long and maybe putting Gallup on injured reserve. Remember, y'all, injured reserve this year is 4 games. It's not 3 games like last year. I think it was a COVID thing. They moved it. They did it some alterations. It's 4 games now. So if they put Gallup on injured reserve to start the season at least he'd be able to come back sooner than if they put him on PUP list. So everybody thinks they should go 6. I agree. Man, I mean, this is where the numbers game plays. I wonder if they go 7. Dallas ain't done that in a long time, though. But I wonder. I wonder if they. Here's what I'm gonna say. I wonder if they go 7 with an asterisk, meaning Gallup is on IR, doesn't count as a roster spot, so you got 6 receivers plus Gallup. Do I still have the graphic of the receiver room? I want to see it all together. Give me a second here. Because this is the room that from a futures perspective, I love it in regards to Jalen Tolbert, Gallup, and CD. If Tolbert hits his ceiling, right? Gallup remains healthy and he's a better player. CD continues to ascend. I love this moving forward for Dak Prescott because you got these boys for at minimum the next 3 years. And, you know, I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that. But if you go around the league and you look at some of the best wide receiver, you know, quarterback duos or quarterback tight end duos, I think one thing you'll notice is that these guys have played a ton together. That hasn't been the case with CD and Dak. And hell, he only played 18, 19, 21. He only played 3 years with Cooper. 7 years in the league, he's never been with the receiver longer than 3 seasons consecutively. I ain't saying it takes that long, you know, but you look at the Rodgers Adams, you look at the Hill, the Mahomes, you know, you look at the Brady Gronk. Who else? These other dynamic duos. Watson and Hopkins at one point. I don't know if they were together 3 years or longer, but they had a dynamic duo situation going. They played a lot together. Lamb and Dak just haven't yet. So nothing would make me more happy than having Tolbert stick around and actually hit his ceiling. Lamb stick around and hit his ceiling. And he's got 2 guys that he can go into the season knowing he can count on. Gallup as well. You know, he's here for 5 years, but Gallup's been a hurt guy. So would not shock me if Gallup's hurt again, y'all. He's just been a hurt guy. Appreciate you, Tony. Yeah, man, do me a favor, man. Hit that like button if you guys are enjoying this late show. For those who are just hopping in here and wondering, well why was Sky so late? Osa Digizua and I were in the middle of an interview, and the connection just wasn't hitting on his side, so we decided to put it off and try to do it later tonight and get you guys a good interview for later. So, you know, click that notification bell. Maybe I'll drop it tonight, but I'll probably drop it tomorrow. We got James, the truck driver, on the horn. Let's hit the phone lines real quick. What's up, James?
Hey, what's up, Sky? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. How you?
All right. Hey, man, we keep talking about Gallup. Man, when did he hurt his knee? When was that, December?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Weeks 15 or 16, Arizona game.
Okay, so we talking December. So
right.
At the start of the season is like, what, September? So that give him 8.5 months. Okay, so 8.5 months. You know, they lying to us, telling him he gonna be ready week 2, week 3. I don't see that. Not coming off of a knee injury. And let's say if he does come back week 2, week 3, do you really think he's going to be effective for, you know, exactly when he comes back?
Well, that's why I kind of gave him some leeway. If you remember, James, earlier in the show, I was like, you know, if we get to week 6, week 8, whenever Gallup gets his feet up under him, I don't think it'll be right away, right? Like, I think it's going to take a few weeks, right? That's just normal. He tore his ACL. First of all, it's going to take an entire full season for him to get back to that exact same player and that confidence in your head. Like that, you don't tear an ACL and then everything is all gravy 7 months later. That's not how that works. It's going to take a little bit. So I'm with you. I don't think Gallup comes back and Gallup is 8 receptions, 150-yard guy, week in, week out. It's going to take him some time to get back right.
Right. And along with that, so let's say, because I'm looking for them to put him on pup. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not listening to that mess that they talking about. So let's just say he's on pup. So we look at our receiving room. So we got CD. He's supposed to be our number one. CD has never, I'm not gonna say never. He's going up against the number one corner, and they're gonna and the safety is gonna be on the top of it. All right. We don't know how he's gonna handle that. We just haven't seen it yet. So I'm not knocking CD. I don't want to do that. We just haven't seen it yet. Then we got Tolbert, we got James Washington, and the rest, whether it be Noah Brown, which I hope the young guys beat him out, Vasher and Semi. Okay, so you said Semi ain't looking good, so he might be the odd man out.
I didn't say that. I said
Okay,
from,
my bad.
From my takeaway from the reports is that Semi has progressed. Semi is better than he was last year, but he also had his drops reported, and that's kind of made the fans kind of sway on him a bit. But no, from I talked to a few people. I mean, we've talked to the people on here, and they had good things to say about him.
Okay. So when we look at our receiving room is really young, and that's without Gallup. And even with Gallup, the receiving room is still young. So wouldn't it be in our best interest, and I'm asking a question, wouldn't it be in our best interest to sign a vet receiver just to help the young guys out, just in case they get into a situation, in game time situation, to where, they come to the sideline, they might be a little frustrated about something, and that said receiver, veteran receiver, whoever that may be, can help them out with things. Now, you got somebody that might say, well, that's the coach's responsibility. Yes, that is the coach's responsibility. But also, if you got a veteran, that veteran is going to help that young receiver. Would you agree with that, or would you not agree with that?
I don't disagree with having a veteran in there like that. I'm trying to find the video of CD Lamb talking about it. Apologies, I probably won't get it in time. So when Amari Cooper left, I know a lot of people don't like Amari Cooper anymore. The talent aside, one thing that he is taking with him is that veteran leadership in that room. And I know he's not a rah-rah type of dude, but all you need to do is go watch practice if you're in Dallas from last year and you got video footage, or if you remember. Watch how he interacted with Amari Cooper. Watch the videos that they posted. Listen to what CD Lamb said. Man, I can't thank Amari enough. Anytime I had questions all the time. I'm asking Amari Cooper, bugging him. He probably tired of me because I had questions I want to ask him. And that was year 2. He's another year in, and he's becoming a young veteran. But as a third-year wide receiver, only 2 years in the league, he's still young in that leadership role. So this year, Lamb is going to have to be the Amari Cooper without that experience. Coop came over here, 4 years into the league already? You know what I'm saying? And finished here going into year 8 now. And by the time they drafted him, he had 7 years in the league, 6 or 7 years in the league. So he could tell you about what he's seen in this league and how teams are going to attack you. And I talk about it all the time with what some of the guys I talk to in regards to Bryant McFadden, and I talked about this with Kenny the Gann, and I brought it up with Ken, and leadership and veteran leadership in the building, and how important that is to said player, and they say it's extremely important in that room. And it looks like Lamb is now that guy. Michael Gallup, I guess we can say Gallup, right? Gallup's been here longer, but Gallup won't be around for a few games.
Right. And that's why I said, if we don't run the ball effectively, our passing game is going to struggle, because if we do run it effectively, then the defense got something to think about, and that'll take pressure off of the wideouts, CD Lamb included. But if we don't run it, man, we're going to struggle. It's
going to make things, unless, right, Kellen Moore adapts and does something that I haven't seen just yet. But just basing it off of what I've seen from Kellen Moore's passing offense, and if teams go ahead and say, well, shoot, we're just going to play you the same way, and he doesn't adapt, absolutely, this passing game is going to struggle. It's going to make it tougher. Doesn't mean that there won't be Dak won't put you in position to win. We've seen even though the passing offense struggled, they had opportunities to win games, be it the playoffs, be it the Cardinals, be it not necessarily the Broncos game. We won't go that route. Be it the Raiders, which that passing game didn't struggle, but the offense was weird until the third quarter. So, I think they'll still be put in a position to win, but it ain't going to look as clean as it did the first 6 weeks.
Right. And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna roll out. I have no confidence in Kellen Moore that he's going to change his philosophy. I mean, I would hope that if he changes anything, that he would try to run the ball effectively, not run the ball just to be running the ball. I can't tell you how important it's going to be for us to run the ball.
Come on, James. Talking here. I don't know.
I mean,
man.
I just we
how
have to run the ball.
Listen, you know how West Coast got the run the damn ball T-shirts, and the hat and all this. I need something where we could use the word efficient or effectively or whatever, because that is the key. That is, I don't even need them to be a 40 carry, 35 carry. I just need you to have a threat, a legitimate, efficient threat of being able to run the rock. And when we struggled to run the rock, if you go look in the games we struggled, guess where there was success at, James?
Absolutely.
Running towards the outside. And they didn't continue to do that. They didn't try to hammer that home. Instead, Kellen decides to put Zeke on a bad knee and shotgun and just, hey, here, Zeke, here, go run up the A-gap. Good luck. I digress.
Yeah.
I need a safe word.
Yeah. And we ran the ball on the right side real good when we did run the ball, up until, he changed up everything, or I guess when Zeke got hurt. But just because Zeke was hurt, that don't mean that we still couldn't have ran the ball. You just run it with Pollard and whoever the other guy was. I can't remember his name, but you know
Corey
what
Clement.
I'm talking about. But, yeah, Corey Clement. That's right. But anyway, Sky, you have a good one, bro. Keep the good show up. I'm going to tune in and listen.
All right, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Here go a couple of them. We talked about this, Jay. I mean, he said, this is paraphrasing what Jay said. He loves Dak, but when is he going to start just feeding the X and stop X receiver and stop believing what your buddy Kellen Moore is saying? That's the thing. That's one of the things I wish he could just be like, man, I know what works in this situation. I believe in myself more than I believe in this damn call. And that could just be me. I'm not in that room. I'm not in the quarterback room. I'm not in the meeting room. But it seems to me he just goes with he audibles. First of all, man, he does audible, right? But you mean, I don't want to use the term going rogue, but hey, kind of is, right? Isn't that what Cooper did? Cooper came over and said, hey, I don't know. I don't care what they do. They can run a stop route. I'm not running no stop route. He's sitting on this. Run this 9. We're going to score. Touchdown. Adrian says, why the hate on Kellen Moore? He's only been coaching for a few years and he didn't give himself the OC position. See, we got to find a new word. I think it's because my guy JC, and shout out to Jeff Kavanaugh, he came on my Twitter post and was like, the hate for Kellen Moore is weird, because I kind of was being sarcastic about a statistic that came out with offensive coordinators putting their receivers in positions or what have you. I don't hate Kellen Moore. How many times do I got to come on here and say Kellen Moore's a smart guy? Kellen Moore not dumb. Kellen Moore's young. In retrospect, in regards to coaching in this league, he is young. I think what you need to get through your head, if you are pro Kellen Moore, is the fact that as a Cowboy fan, we don't care how young you are. You've been given a Lamborghini, okay? Drive it like such, or it was at one point, all the time, right? I don't have time to wait for you to be a veteran play caller. Unfortunately, we have no choice. So as a fan, I think you have to be able to separate the fact that, yes, Kellen's young. Totally understand that. Got to get together. On the other hand, damn it, I don't got 5, 10, 11 years for you to figure this league out. Because you know what's going to happen? Up, there goes Amari Cooper. Up, there goes Randy Gregory. Up, there goes, and I'm just using names that are gone, but that's going to continue to happen. Like, players are going to be leaving here. So I just want Kellen to be better when it's time to be better. I can say that for the players too. I want them to be better as well. But I'm tired of looking around the league and seeing teams with less talent or equal talent, people with bad offensive lines, but their offensive coordinator is putting them in positions in the clutch against better teams with worse quarterbacks, with worse receivers. But we got to sit here and coddle Kellen. Oh, well, you're only in year 3. I know you have this Lamborghini, but it's going to be okay, buddy. Man, no. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of it. Okay? This is a pattern that has been developing for 3 years under Kellen Moore. Okay? They adapt to him. He doesn't adapt. That's all I want to see, man. I don't think it was that difficult to do that last year. I'm not no guru. But I've seen other coordinators do it. Man, I seen Doug Peterson. What the fuck? Doug Peterson, who I salute. Give me a second. Because this column of Kellen is going too far. Took Nick Foles and said, this ain't going to work. What we did with him is not going to work with you. Completely changed his playbook midseason and went to the goddamn Super Bowl. But I got to be patient, Kellen Moore. Really trying my hardest here, man. My patience has run thin. If anything with Kellen Moore, it's my patience is gone. It's gone. I digress. Take a quick break. Take a quick break. We're going to talk about the ride of the week here, the 2022 Hyundai Venue. That's this week's ride of the week. The 2022 Hyundai Venue ranks in the top third of the subcompact SUV class, thanks in parts to its roomy seating space, great fuel economy, spry driving dynamics, affordable pricing, and many standard tech and safety features. Don't confuse its bargain pricing for a lack of desirable features or a cut rate interior. On the contrary, every Venue has a host of standard drive assist and a robust infotainment system. So if you want to know more about this week's ride of the week, visit freemanhyundai.com or hit up Freeman Hyundai in Irving, Texas.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
In front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it
Oh, look at that. Look, I done messed up so much. I got so pissed off. Damn camera don't want out. What Vach saying in there, man? Oh, Sky's voice. He really be red when he get mad. So yesterday on the volume, we had a caller. Shout out to you, by the way, caller. I ain't got nothing against you. But they couldn't hear me. That really made me mad. We got to figure that out today. Getting on Dak about this damn division. Listen, I could go crazier. I could. I think I hold my emotions in check. I could be way worse. B47 said Red Walker still. Toxic. It's not how much talent you have. If it's managed and run unqualified, egotistical, chuckle, you are not going to do well 100%. B. Bird, Cowboys front office got people that look the part rather than get people that are the part. Garrett looked the part, but Sean Payton was the part. Kellen looks the part, but McVay is the part. Boy, y'all talking. Come on. Now I can read the chat. When I was going on my rant, I wasn't in here, so I got to see what y'all talking about in here. Marcus said, Sky seems like he trashes TVs when he gets mad at games. I don't go that hard. I don't understand that one. I don't know if that's for show. I don't know if it's a fake TV. I don't know, but that is crazy to me. I will tell you this, Marcus, and my brother will attest to this. During games, I don't like people around me. I need room. I'm animated. I get hype. When I get mad, here's the thing. When I'm actually upset at the game, and I got to get my boy on here, Jesse. It's more like, because I know I got to, let me just go ahead and calm that down. This is why I'm glad I don't do the live streams no more. Because we all do this. This bum, you know what I mean? We all do this. We don't necessarily mean it, but in that play, you was a bum. So I'm glad I don't do live streams. I'm actually the opposite, bro. When I get mad, I'm super calm. At a game. During a game. You can see it on here. I have to calm myself down. When I get excited, though, I'm running around, I'm moving. It's all crazy. So you got to give me some room. Joe said, I do trash my couch pillows when watching the Cowboys game. I'm with you, man. Now, if I'm at a Cowboys bar, Danny, cool. I was tortured one time. I had to watch the Eagles game, playoff game, at an Eagles bar because I was doing an NFL NBA podcast live show at a bar, at an Eagles bar. And one of my best friends, the Eagle fan. It was torture. Up until they was getting whooped by the Seattle Seahawks, and it was beautiful. Right, King? Like, I'm disappointed. You know what I mean? I get disappointed in these boys. B. Bird said, as much as I had to do to convince my wife to get my TV, ain't no way I'm breaking it. Come on, you feel me? Why you breaking TVs, man? It's never that serious. It's never that serious. But all right, so we got to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Jalen Tolbert versus James Washington. A very underrated battle here. Fehoko versus Drummond. I have those two guys as the leaders in the clubhouse to say this. If they decide to go with a slot guy to get the slot position. And then you have the triple threat of TJ Vasher, Simi Fehoko, and Noah Brown. Let me ask y'all. If you had to grade, let me see if I still got up here. If you had to grade this wide receiver room, we're in July. You can change your opinion when more data is given to you. We got to start making that acceptable in social media society. Okay? Change your opinion if you get more data. But right now, July 13th, what would you grade this room? Johnny Parker, go back to the Kellen thing. You notice during those head coaching interviews this year, they seen that Kellen was not ready. You know, we got quotes from leadership councils that was sitting in on the Kellen Moore interviews. They don't believe he's a guy that can lead these men. I'll leave it at that. Let me get to these grades. C plus TC915, C minus, B minus from Craig, Shane B minus, Roderick B plus, B Bird C, Antoine B, JA B minus due to the depth issues, B minus, Andrew Gene B, B47 Vic says B minus, C plus. Did we even get an A here? No A's. D from Craig. C plus from Adrian. C plus. Gallup returns B. I was waiting to see something like that. I think that's where I'm at. I think early on, right now, sitting here in July, with no Gallup, I'd look at it as a C plus. When Gallup returns, I've been saying this forever. When Gallup returns, I don't think there is as many concerns about the wide receiver room. All depends what Tolbert looks like. If Tolbert's that dude, even better. Even if Tolbert's coming along slow, right? Like, it's taking him some time. James Washington's a veteran. I don't think it's going to take James Washington time to learn the league, right? So I can see Gallup, Washington, CeeDee Lamb being a respectable enough wide receiver room trio, whatever you want to call it, to get busy. Like, that can get busy with that. You add in Tolbert, now you can stretch it out to 4 guys. Or if Tolbert's the 3rd guy, right? Now we're talking about your wide receiver room having some solid depth from 1 through 4. We'll see about the back half there, but C plus until Gallup gets back. I give it a B once he returns. Professor O says, assuming he gets back in a reasonable amount of time, a B. Trey want to get Noah out of here. Hey, Boogie the Boss said, y'all know good goddamn well. You know, when you hear that, you in trouble. Good goddamn well, it ain't no damn B. More like a C plus. I didn't even bring up Pollard. I see you talking about Zeke and Pollard. I don't think Pollard's going to transition into a slot guy, but I wonder if early on they make him do more slot things. Got a couple callers on the line. Let's get to D Shift first before we get to the mobster. What's up, D Shift?
Hey, what's up, Sky?
Good with you,
bro. Nothing. You know how I feel about my wide receivers, right, bro?
That's your room right there.
Yeah, man.
What's your grade? I didn't see your grade in there before you go on. What grade did you give the wide receiver room here July 13th?
Man, you know I give them a B plus, and everybody can be mad at me. That's cool.
Nah, there's a lot of B pluses in here.
Cool. So and I can kind of I can get the whole thing of lack of Gallup thing, which I don't know, a little bit more optimistic because of the news you got about Jabril Cox. I know, ACLs aren't all made the same, but
well, Brillo, when he injured his against the Vikings, so that was an
Vikings or Giants.
So that was October, right? Mid-October, late October, something like that. Whereas
2 months.
What's the name? Injured his late December.
January?
Yeah, late December, early
late
January.
December.
Yeah, so got it. A 2-month head start, bro.
So they said training camp, which starts in
training camp. What?
For Jabril Cox. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Jabril will be back this month.
This month, so which they give you late September if you gave it 2 months. So
it's 9-month
maybe
recovery.
That 4 games it just depends on how they recovered, how each guy's body responded. Got to factor all that in. But I'd say a B. I'd say a B plus still because I'm trying to consider what an A plus room looks like. And I still, as long as you have CeeDee Lamb there, you don't have too many. I mean, it's rare that you have 3 number ones, right?
Very. Yes.
Not even saying the Cowboys had that last year. Still kind of give Gallup a strong number 2, maybe a low end number 1, but hasn't just been consistent enough, But I mean, even with that, I feel like what you've invested with your 3rd round receiver, and then what you have in CD, it's just an improving room. So I can understand like the C minuses and C pluses, but I still think it's a solid B plus because what an A plus with an A minus room would look like. I don't know if you have.
Man,
I don't know if that.
What'd you get the wide receiver room last year?
Last year?
Yeah.
We can give it. It was an A. I feel like it was an A because I feel like you might even stretch it to an A plus just because of kind of what you had last year with a Coop, and just because of what
It was deep, man.
what's realistic. I guess based
it was
on
deep.
realistic. Like I'm not saying
it ain't as deep, right? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
asking
I
you.
mean, realistically, what happens across the league versus like you ain't gonna have like Calvin. I mean, not Calvin. Well, Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, and you ain't gonna have all those guys.
No, you ain't do that.
That doesn't really happen, right? So I mean, I guess what you go off. What was the A+ receiver room to you? I say
Last year's receiver.
I guess. Like I mean,
that was a beautiful
if I were to
receiver.
say like go historically, you know what I mean? Like of course, greatest show on turf might have been an A+, right? Chris Carter and Randy Moss together might have been an A+.
I'd give the Bengals. That's up there. If it ain't A+, it's an A. That was a good receiving room last year, man. I mean, they still got that receiving room.
Okay, I guess I'm just trying to base it off of like maybe I'm giving them
Rams.
too much credit with the B+ because of what historically what a great wide receiver room has been, what an A+ wide receiver room has been versus like recency bias. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not really trying to look around and say all these other receiver rooms A+ and compare them to Cowboys. I'm just saying for the Dallas Cowboys, I think the last year's wide receiver room was extremely deep. And I think the criticism is fair for the receiving room now, especially to start the season, because it's just, quite honestly, it's not as deep. An improvement right now in July. Now we get out to training camp, we get to preseason, and Tolbert's looking uncoverable. James Washington is eating. Then I think everybody's grades will go up. But right now, the room's without a doubt, man, it took a hit. Look at where 4 and 5 is compared to what 4 and 5 was last year, right?
Right, and I would argue that your 4 and 5 were. Well, I mean, yeah, they were developed. Cedric Wilson put some time. They put some time in with Cedric Wilson, and you got to kind of repeat the process now versus being there. But I would still, the whole CeeDee Lamb, man. I just think he just kind of gives the room a boost. I don't think having CeeDee Lamb in a wide receiver room with a C-, C+ grade, I don't think that's really fair.
See, okay, that's okay, because you know what?
I can't put CD in no C class, bro. Like he definitely honors.
I will let you. That is fair. Here's why it's fair to me. Here's why it's fair. I'm still gonna give it a C+ though. But here's why it's fair. because I basically use that same exact scenario with the linebacker room, right? I said, hey, Micah Parsons, he your linebacker, good. It's a good room. I class it as a strength, and that's more so because of Micah. But you remove Micah, it is a weakness. I won't go as far and say this wide receiving room is a strength because of CeeDee Lamb, but it is totally fair to say CD is that dude in that room so much that you can't go below a B- type of situation. I can dig it.
Right. Yeah, I'll meet you halfway with a B- because I don't. Because, again, I would tend to want to factor in the quarterback, but I know you're strictly grading just the room itself.
Yeah, just the room, man.
Regardless of that. But, all right, Scott. That's cool, bro. Appreciate it, man. I'll let you later, man. Have a good day.
You too, man. Interesting. I won't be that hypocrite. I did the same exact thing with Micah. So I feel him. I personally think CD is going to have a fantastic year. If he don't, I don't think it'll be CD's doing. And before y'all throw all the drop stuff out, I'm not even going to bring that graphic up. He could still have a fantastic year and have 7 drops. Doesn't mean I want him to, but that can still be the case. All right, looks like we got Nacho on the horn and also Danny. I gotta get to Danny though. It is a must to get to Danny because I know he's probably on his 3rd coffee here. We started so late. I don't know if he's fuming at the mouth like I was with the Kellen Moore talk, but what you got for us, man?
Good morning, Sky. Actually, I haven't even had any coffee.
Oh.
I woke up late, and then I had to walk my pit bull. So I'm mellow. But then I got on. I thought I missed the show, but I'm a little late too. So we're good. But I see the younger boss. Vach. He's in the chat room. He's lurking. I see him. Here's my opinion on the wide receiver room. It's proven in the last few years, that 3-1s has not worked for us.
It has.
This wide receiver room, if CD does what we expect him to do, there's no reason why this room can't be an A. There's no reason why this room cannot win a Super Bowl. Now let me ask you a question. With all the investments we've put in the wide receiver room the last few years,
lots of them,
would you rather have had all that investment in the wide receiver room, or that linebacker, or at the offensive line?
So are you asking me, would I rather have put that same amount of
Would
effort?
you rather have 3 number 1 picks at linebacker? Would you rather have 3 number 1 wide receivers? Would you rather have your center and 2 guards be 3 first-round picks? What I'm trying to say is all the investments that we put at wide receiver, would you have rather had it there, or would you have had 3 monsters at linebacker?
I don't need 3 monsters.
You follow?
It's 2022. I just don't need 3 monsters.
You don't need 3 monsters at what position?
Linebacker. I don't need 3 monsters at linebacker. So if you're asking,
I don't think you need 3 monsters at wide receiver.
I mean,
See,
that's
I'm
fair.
old.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I mean, 2 is fine. But so if you're asking me, would I rather have put that same energy into the offensive line? Couldn't we argue they're doing that? They just signed, or they just drafted a first-round left guard, right? You got 2. You had 3 of the highest paid players at their position when Collins was here: Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith.
In my opinion, in the wide receiver group, you need that one stud that the team has to account for on every single play. Then you need your guy that go across the middle, your possession guy. Then you need your big 6'5" leaper that you could just throw it up and let him catch it. Listen, I know everyone kills Kellen Moore, and I kill him a lot too. But trust me, Kellen Moore has a lot of a young Sean Payton in him. If you watched Sean Payton when he was an offensive coordinator, listen, Sky, Sean Payton got booed at a Giant stadium as the Giants' offensive coordinator. Sean Payton got booed out of Dallas when he was Parcells' offensive coordinator.
Bro,
listen,
you had Quincy Carter as your. Go ahead, bro.
Listen, here's the deal with Kellen Moore. He is great. He's great from 20 to the 20. Kellen will get you to the 20-yard line every drive, and then it stalls. Because 2 things: he gets cute. He gets cute with his play calling, which I don't like. But Sean Payton did a lot of the same thing. I understand someone put a stat up. We were 9th in rushing. But when we had to run the ball, when the other teams knew we had to run the ball on certain plays, we did not get it done. And when you get inside the 20, it's so much more difficult to pass the ball. So to me, inside the 20, that's when you got to shove it down people's throats and run the ball. That's my opinion.
Danny, I'm disappointed, Danny.
Really? On which point? Or all of them? Which point?
I'm really trying to get past the Sean Payton thing, bro.
Listen, Sean Payton was hated. Hated. Plus, you could go back. Parcells used to be screaming at him, because he would get Dallas inside the 20.
I'm trying to give you some time to think about what you're saying here. So because somebody was hated, we're going to compare them. So he got booed. and he's Sean Payton. That's what we doing. Come on, Danny boy.
But he got booed out of two organizations, not one.
Danny.
Two
I'm
organizations.
trying to give you some time to save yourself from yourself. From one Italian to another.
I'm not saying.
Come here, man.
I'm not saying he is. All I'm trying to say is, honestly, too, he could be sandbagging McCarthy. He might be doing like what a Jason Garrett.
I was just about to say, so he's Jason Garrett. Then maybe that is the comparison that you need to be making here, brother.
No, I don't. I definitely don't want that. Listen, is Jason Garrett a good quarterback coach? Yeah. He's not a head coach.
I have no clue.
And I don't. Listen. I can't see the future. I don't think Kellen is a head coach, but since Jerry got burnt with the last one, that's why he wants to keep Kellen around. When he got burnt with Sean Payton. That's the only. Listen, whoever the next coach is, we're still going to have Kellen Moore. I'm sorry to tell everyone.
I don't know.
Just being honest.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. I mean, listen. I get it because he's a Jerry Jones's favorite. But I think the clock is ticking on Kellen. I think if this offense does a similar thing as it did last year, this could be it for Kellen, because this could be it for the entire staff. If Dallas, if Dallas offense fails in the second half and they don't win in the playoffs, why would you bring this guy back?
Right, but then we're going to go backwards. You know why? And I love Dan Quinn, but we're going to hire Dan Quinn as our head coach. I think Dan Quinn is a much better defensive coordinator than a head coach, because the success rate of defensive coordinators failing at head coach is super high. So then who's going to be our defensive coordinator? We're going to go out and get Zimmer?
I mean, if it was up to me, if they wanted to hire Dan Quinn, I would not have a problem with it. I would just make sure that Dan Quinn allocates certain parts of the team appropriately so he's able to still be that guy on defense. We've seen it done. We've seen it done.
Okay,
Bill does it.
But why mess up a good thing?
You don't have to.
If he's a monster on defense and he has everything, and he can take normal guys and turn them to playmakers, why are we going to switch him?
I'm not saying that's what they should do. But now you have to take off your fan hat real quick and think about the situation. If they fire Mike McCarthy, Jerry Jones already told you, hey, man, yeah, sure, you could be the head coach for this team before. You think Dan Quinn going to sit to the side and be like, knowing damn well if we have a good season on defense and he's going to get interviewed at other places, he's going to say, you know what? No, I'll let you bring in another guy, give him 3, 4, 5 more years, and I'll just continue to be a defensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is 52 years old or something like that. He still has aspirations of being a head coach, Danny. He's not going to sit to the wayside and let Kellen Moore.
I respect that. But then, so we're going to have Dan Quinn as a head coach, and then he's still going to get Kellen Moore shoved down his throat as offensive coordinator. Because at the end of the day, Jerry makes the decisions. Am I right or am I wrong?
You could be right about the Kellen Moore thing. Like I said, it depends how this offense plays and how the Cowboys finish. If the offense adapts, they do amazing. They are consistent throughout the year. Cowboys get to an NFC Championship game. I don't think they're going to not bring back Kellen Moore. Of course he's going to be back here. Of course. But if they do what they have been doing the last 3 seasons under Kellen with the offense, right? They get to the playoffs and they lose. Would you bring Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy and whoever the hell back? Would you do it?
Well, first of all, I never would have hired McCarthy in the first place, and I would not bring Kellen back. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
But also, I think the defense is, at the end of the year, the defense is going to run circles around this offense. At the end of the year, the defense will be, if we do anything this year, go deep in the playoffs, it's going to be because of that defense. in my opinion.
And all more of a reason why Dan Quinn would be a head coach somewhere else if not here. I'm saying.
Okay, but why would you leave Micah? That's like that's how do you? Why would you? That's like listen. If Micah continues to be Micah, we can talk about him. If he does what he does for the next 10 years,
he wouldn't, Danny. You know why? You know why he wouldn't leave him? Just take a guess. Because he'd be the head coach. Thank you. That's the point, Danny.
See, this is me with no coffee.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody, later on, 306 crew, listen to Vach and Sky, but no, you're spitting the right facts. You're talking, I think this wide receiver room.
Context.
I think this wide receiver room is okay. I also thought, though, draft day, linebacker was a bigger need in the second and the third. But we got who we got.
Danny, for me, that was a top 3 need, so I'm with you. All right, bro.
Great call. Looking forward to seeing you guys later.
Yeah, I'll see you later, man.
You got it.
Do I even need to do this one? Kellen Moore was a coach. I'm not Kellen Moore. Sean Payton was a coach for 8 years before he got to the NFL via offensive assistant, San Diego State, Indiana State, San Diego State, Miami, Ohio, Illinois. Got to Philly as a quarterback coach in 97, 98. Giants quarterback coach in 99. Was the OC from 2000 to 2002 for the New York Giants. So before he became an offensive coordinator, I almost said Kellen Moore. Sean Payton was a coach for almost 12 years. There was not anything remotely close, similar to Kellen Moore and Sean. It couldn't be the furthest thing from each other. The furthest from each other. So that's all I'm end right there. Just that point alone, they're not similar. Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore, however, their timelines are eerily similar. Career backups. Retire first year offensive assistant as a quarterback's coach. 1 year later, offensive coordinator before the head coach chosen by Jerry Jones. Kellen Moore, career backup, retires. Right after retires, he's a what? Quarterback's coach. Elevated to offensive coordinator, remained an offensive coordinator before you got your head coach via Jerry Jones. That is your comparison, Danny. That is your comparison. And it ain't a damn good one. I digress. All right, here's what we gonna do, man. Sky going since he don't agree. Danny coming for you. I told y'all, if something happened to me, my boy Danny did it. All right, Nacho, what you got for us right quick before we get up out of here? We did a little bit of overtime today because of the situation early on, and I'll revisit that later. What's up, Nacho?
Good morning. Hey, man, this is they got you going, huh? They got you going. A little bit of passion, but hey, listen, you have all the right to feel the way you do.
I love it.
Cowboy Nation feels the same way. You know, the frustration with our offense and Kellen Moore, but Sean Payton would be an elevated, elite level, better head coach than we've had compared to everybody else on that point. Our receivers, I give them a B- right now. It's a young group that could definitely develop into an A- maybe at the end of the year. Let's see how the season goes. What we had when we had Cooper and Cedric Wilson and everybody along the way, I thought we had an A level. a Lamborghini type of thing, as you alluded to earlier. That is what Kellen Moore has had to work with.
Yeah.
And yet we have failed. So to those points, here is an opportunity, I truly believe, for a young group of wide receivers to basically Dak and the group to develop, and this is the future here going forward with Jalen Tolbert along the way, and, Vasher and those guys that might surprise some of us along the way. So they might have that, that slot receiver, that outside, with Gallup, and maybe like a big possession guy like Vasher. Those guys come into play. So, right now, without a doubt, we're going to have to see. I love CeeDee Lamb, and, these players are going to have to elevate themselves to a level where, okay, can you be that guy that you're that Michael Irvin that says, hey, listen, I don't care if I'm being double teamed. Give me the rock. The game is on the line, and I want it. Now, that's what I would like to see. That's what I would like to see some of our receivers. I'll tell you what, Zeke, well, I remember when Zeke, I remember it was that game at Pittsburgh at Heinz Field, 2016. They were rookies, and he was on the sidelines. And on the highlights, they were showing where he came to the offensive line. He was telling them, and he was letting them know, like, nobody wants any part of this.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to get hit. And they can't stop us. That type of mentality, like that, like, if you will, that Michael Irvin, that Charles Haley, that Aikman yelling at the offensive lineman because they're doing a poor job of protection. Okay, who's going to be that guy?
Well, that was the identity, right? One thing the Cowboys can lean their hat on, whether you agreed or disagreed, was that they had an identity at that time. You could argue under Kellen, we just don't really have one. And in fact, there was an article put out in the Ringer, and hell, I read the article at that time, and I was like, oh, this is very interesting because it seems to be true. His identity was an identity-less offense. And instead of me calling it that, I dubbed it, you know what, we're going to dub it, how do you want it? We had the whole how do you want it offense, right? Where we could run it if you stack, or you could throw it if you stack the box, we could run it if you didn't. But at the end of the day, one thing you can say, well, the Cowboys do lean their hat on is the run game. They were averaging like 200 yards per game at that time period. And they had an identity even though they were identityless, right? Take what the defense gives us. Well, once that does get, adjusted to, and a team makes you have to have some type of identity, we hadn't adjusted to it yet. So maybe Kellen goes back to that well. Maybe he can't go back to that well. Maybe he believes we don't got the talent to. I don't know. But all I know is he needs to adjust to what the league did to him.
And to that point, if you ask most Cowboys fan base, okay, what is our identity on offense? They will hesitate to tell you what it is because it's a makeshift offense. I mean, I recall when we were, and we can go back again, when we were, those first 6 weeks of the season, and we were playing that music and we were vibing, and I mean, it just felt good to know, like, hey, we have this type of offense that could be multi-dimensional, run it, offense, this, that, pass. I mean, it was good, and then all of a sudden it's like we forgot how to call a game plan.
Yeah, if you go down, the Bengals, the Rams, the Niners, the Bills, the Chiefs. If you go down and look at some of the top offenses, hell, even I don't know what they ranked, but if you go look at the Chargers, but you go look at some of these offenses, you can kind of pinpoint what they like to do, whether it's a lot of pre-snap motion, whether it is running the ball, whether it's sending out 4 or 5 guys in a route, Tom Brady's type of offense, whether it's the short, when you looked at Dallas, what can you really say? This is what they like to do and do or do well. We're not an offense that does a screen game well. We're not an offense that runs to the outside at a great rate. We're not an offense that does a lot of pre-snap motion. There isn't a lot of eye candy given pre or post snap. It's very much still that Zampese-esque number system, with a little bit of razzle dazzle mixed into it. That's how I feel. It doesn't feel like an offense that is much adapted as much. And when we thought so, when you actually go back and look, you had a lot of pulls, you had some traps, and these things were working early on. You ran some pre-snap motion, and then it just stopped. Out of the blue. It just stopped. You stopped doing that. So I can't pinpoint what it is that Dallas does very well besides, I know y'all might hate me for this, besides number 4 being the guy pulling the trigger. Like, I know I can count on him, being a consistent guy, but we're going to need more than just him.
I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to leave you with this point, and this is going to be a question for you, Sky, and a question for all Cowboy families. And I'm going to be very harsh. If McVay, Shanahan,
come on,
or even a Sean Payton, and I'm just going to give those
That's
three
one,
as
Sean
examples.
Payton.
If they were running our offense
Come on.
with our players in comparison to what we have now, would it be any different? And if it wasn't any different, then it goes back to the players. And if it would be a game changer, then there's your elephant in the room.
I watched Sean Payton take Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill and have a winning record. Okay? Yeah, that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Yeah, it would be different. I watched Kyle Shanahan take an offense with Jimmy Garoppolo to the Super Bowl and on the cusp of winning. I watched Sean McVay have Jared Goff. I'm not saying Jared Goff is a bum, but it's Jared Goff. Go to the Super Bowl as well and have ridiculous years, a couple years in L.A. I watched Andy Reid, Doug Peterson do things with backup quarterbacks, and I watched these other offense coordinators do things. So that's why I am all out of patience. It's time to nut up. It's time. There's no more, okay? There's no more excuses, man. You got to find a way to, even if your team is compromised, even if your quarterback, whatever, you got to find a way, man, because too many times throughout this league, I've seen other dudes be able to do it. That's all.
Hey, you know what? Amen and 110 on that. And then I'll leave you also with this last thing. I've been battling a few of my colleagues and my friends in the Cowboys circle up here in Northern California. Point fingers at number 4, and I am a Dak Prescott fan. I believe in the guy. Just everything he's made of, and I'm hoping. What I'm really hoping is that he can have someone that can really tailor the offense to his strengths and what he does best to allow him to have that type of success. Because I believe that Dak can get us where we need to be and to go. And a lot of the blame goes, as we all know, right? The blame goes to the head coach, and then it goes down to your starting quarterback. But if your schemes and your offensive play calling, if it's not being run the way it should be run with the personnel you have, this is where
Matt Ryan was an MVP under Kyle Shanahan, bro. Like if you want to look at an offense comparable, if I can go back and look at that roster, I think that Atlanta offense in 2016 was comparable to what the Cowboys had last year. They had multitude of backs that were effective. They had a trio of wide receivers, if I'm not mistaken, and one of them was really damn good. And Kyle just dialed that sucker up. Dialed it up. So, yeah, man. I mean, come on, we're talking about here, man. If you give Dak or this team in general one of those elite play callers, I mean, yes. You know, things, and same thing with Tony. The reason why I laughed is because I'm like, damn, think about this for a second. You know, the Cowboys have had, in my opinion, 2 quality quarterbacks capable, but Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan and now a young Kellen Moore has been the guys that have been given the keys to it. I do wonder if other quarterbacks were put in that same situation, if things would have been the same or different. Just something that kind of what if type of situation.
and that is, and you're alluding to a Romo and a Dak Prescott, correct?
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'm glad you brought that point up, because that is exactly the point that I've been, kind of pushing home for many, many years, is the fact that, yes, other than the Troy Aikman era, after Tony Romo, the only two quarterbacks, more or less, that have been like, okay, maybe this is the guy, you're going to say it, Tony Romo and Dak, and who they've had to work with is average, at least kind of learning on the job type of
coaching
coordinator, head coach, and because of that, I mean, I think there was a point. I don't know if you had known or you had heard rumors, but when Andy Reid left Philadelphia, Andy Reid and Jerry Jones had such a unique connection. Imagine if we would have gotten Andy Reid in Dallas. I mean, and maybe
they don't win the Super Bowl. They might not win the Super Bowl. I guarantee you this, brother. We would have had playoff success.
No, right? Absolutely. And that's why, to me, this year is paramount in terms of, okay, we're either going to continue with this young and up-and-comer, learning on the job, average to mediocre head coach, play caller, or finally Jerry says, enough is enough. I bring in, for example, as we've been rumored to, a Sean Payton or somebody that's going to come in with credentials, because otherwise you're never gonna find out, okay, is it the players that they're not necessarily executing and running the game plan, or is it the scheme and the play calling? And to me right now, if our play calling was any much different and we were aggressive and we would utilize the talent we have on our team, we'd be looking at, we would not be.
Well, you got to get to it. You got to get to it, Nacho.
You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm as passionate and frustrated as you are. But the bottom line is, hey, listen, I think you get the point. And at the end of the day, this is the year to make this happen. If it's not, you got to break it up and you got to bring in the right coach and the right coordinator to make this team go to the championship. I'll leave you with that.
There you go, Nacho. Appreciate you, man.
All right, my man.
Fabulous.
You too, my man. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Just a great point. And it's not something that is a secret. We all know that Jason Garrett was learning on the job. We all know Kellen is learning on the job. But that is two important pieces to your team with quarterbacks that they were integral in helping develop or at a point in their career where you got to lean on said coach. There's a handful of quarterbacks where you don't have to lean on your coach, meaning Aaron Rodgers, right? Tom Brady, maybe Drew Brees, even though that's another thing I give a ton of credit to Sean Payton for with Drew Brees, is that his arm was not one of the strongest arms in the league, one of the smartest, one of the most accurate, sure. But he also helped put the right pieces around him and dialed it up right. But man, there's very few. You're just like, hey man, you're a 13-year veteran for whatever it is, right? You know this league. I don't have to do too much. We know the game plan. Do your thing. For the most part, Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes without Kansas City and Andy Reid. He's an alien. One of the greatest arms I've ever seen in my life. One of the greatest. But he needs the Andy Reid. So, yeah, man, this is it. I mean, I hope this is it for Jerry. Like, if they can't get this thing figured out this year from a consistent basis, you have to move on. And the barometer ain't getting to the playoffs and losing with hope, right? Because my fear is that we get to the playoffs, Cowboys lose 28-25. They storm down there. They score 2 touchdowns in the fourth, and Jerry's like, well, you know what? It was close. We almost did it. Meanwhile, look the same exact as it did. You just can't. This is it, man. Time to shut up, get it done, or go. For many people, in this organization. Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, right? Coaching wise, because Dak ain't going nowhere. But speaking on the coaches, you've got to win a few for us. You just got to. And I'll leave it at that, man. All right, look. Hey. Is Brady without Belichick? Probably not. But one thing, B. Bird, he made a good point at Brady went over there to Tampa. Lots of talent, though. They won the Super Bowl. But he ain't got no 6 rings. No. He ain't got 6 rings. B. Bird says, I'm convinced the Joneses don't want Sean. Call in tomorrow. I got to hear this one, B. Bird. Because that's their boy, Sean. Sean and they got a tight relationship. I'm interested to hear about that. Not today, though, because we'll be on here for another hour. Sky, you and I both know they won't move on from Kellen Moore. I'm only okay with that if Kellen Moore shows growth and progresses and things like that. Got a problem with it. No problem. But if we continue to see the same Kellen, I'll be livid. Dallas Sports 1977. Kellen needs to run a power set. 2 backs. Sean Payton would win with this weak-minded PA. Yeah, play. His coach says, Johnny, since we have gotten Dan the man as our defensive coach, we have gotten better. Kellen got to go if he can't do a better job than last year with his play calling. Well, one thing that the argument people will say for Kellen is we're number 1, right? So we know that I've already debunked that situation. Sure, we're number 1. Congratulations. You average 70 points per game against the NFCs. Go look at when you're playing those better teams, though. Go look at when you're getting into the playoffs. Go look at when the game's contested. Go look at, I still have the statistics sitting here. Not counting week 18. Right? They went 3 and out to open the game or downs 6 times during the season. They had 3 total opening drive touchdowns on the season. 1 after week 3. Okay? 1. They had a total of 4 opening drive scores the entire season. And I used the Rams as comparison because it wasn't like the Rams had a clean offense all year, but they had 9 opening drive scores. They went 3 and out or downs 3 times all year. So not only, and we detailed this during the season. This ain't new. I didn't just try to find statistics. We talked about this during the season. Not only are we struggling towards the end of the game, but we're not coming out firing on all cylinders to begin the game. Literally begin the game. Now, if you look at total first quarter points, they eventually, all right, we got to get this thing together, and they figure it out. But there's room for improvement. He's young. He's not dumb. I wish he would discover, some cojones. Did I say that right? I'll make sure I get that word right. But if he discover some of those, and he has the potential to be all right. Yeah, bro, we still here almost 11. That's because we started late. But with that said, get rid of this here. Hit that like button on the way out. We had a long one today. I'll be back later on the volume. Make sure y'all check that out. Vasher Lombardi live had an absolute banger of a show yesterday. If y'all missed that, go check that out. It was fun seeing him go at Colin Cowherd's ridiculous list. We don't normally do a crazy list like that here, but I love that Vasher did it on his show because he did it in a way where facts were presented, then the feelings came later. So check that out if y'all want to run that back. We'll be on the volume 306-ish, 3-ish Mafia. We'll see. And then later tonight, Mauricio Rodriguez will be back on the channel, A to Z Sports Prime Time. And I will update y'all. Follow me on Twitter. I'll update y'all on the Osa situation. I might drop it here in the community as well. We're going to try to get that recorded tonight, and maybe I'll have a snippet of it. I'll probably do that. I'll put the snippet together for the show tomorrow, and we'll drop the full interview after that. All right? With that said, man, my voice is gone. We talked a lot today, didn't we? Hit this button. Woo. Good stuff. Good stuff. Y'all keep rocking with your boy. Appreciate y'all for coming through on the late tip. The latest I've ever went. The latest. But we got through it, man. See y'all tomorrow morning. Love you. Peace.
Bomb Squad!